Coming to get you, Barbara.
Hi, welcome to DJB Productions Network. This is the Scream Stream. Today we are going to be talking about creature features. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like what you see, even if you don't like and subscribe anyway, if you're a kind human being and just want to give us a nice up. Yeah, all right. So today we are going to be talking about creature features. And then we are going to be joined by my awesome co-hosts, Danny J.
Hey, what's up? It's Creature Features right here on the Scream Stream.
All right, and then our other awesome co-host, Matt Sunner.
Hey, Stacy, how you doing?
Doing great. How is everybody else doing?
We're doing fantastic.
Ooh,
Awesome.
Wow.
Love to hear it.
looking forward to another great show here on the Scream Stream.
Mimicking my picture. Oh, I should have done it this side. I don't even know. It doesn't even fit. I don't. All right. So yeah, today we are going to be talking about some creature features. We're probably going to be getting into a lot of details. Sometimes we get off topic, but they're usually related off topic. I know that sounds weird.
Stream of consciousness here on the DJB Productions.
It is. I like it that way.
It sometimes is. But creature features, what a great topic this is, because it's honestly, and it does kind of fall into when we did sci-fi horror in a sense. It does fall into that a little bit. If you go back into the 50s when creature features was like the thing, in Japan we get Godzilla. In the United States we get them. That's
and
right.
The crabs and also the frogs.
Creature from the Black Lagoon. We get Tarantula, which would be
Tarantula.
Tarantula was a great movie, and stuff like that. And we just go further from there. And creature features, it's like you get Tremors. You get
oh God, yeah.
What was that it was with Peter Weller, Matt, and they were like streakers or screamers or something like that?
Screamers. You're talking about Screamers.
Was that Screamers? Yeah. It was that. They had to smoke a cigarette like every hour because the air was so polluted. They needed to smoke
nicotine. They had to smoke the special shit. They had to do that. And then the Screamer things were like these awesome weird things in the ground that would like come literally screaming and like pop up. It's like fucked up. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like the shit from oh my God, Phantasm. I just forgot the yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I just blinked out on the fucking name. Yes, Phantasm.
But the funny thing is with creature features, it could be big, it could be gigantic, like these titans behind me, or it could literally be ants, it could be spiders, it could be rats.
Oh, rats.
Remember another a good movie that let me tell you something. There's a movie called Frogs.
Yeah, I know.
Fucking horrible fucking movie.
Does that need to be done on Shit Your Pants Wednesday?
No. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is.
It's so bad that it's actually bad.
I watched it on Svengoolie one time.
I was gonna say it's not bad that it's like I don't know. It's like one of those.
They ran out. They ran
like MST3K.
They were in Hollywood.
I don't know. It's like
yeah. Really. It is an MS3.
MS3K. Like it really is.
They ran out. They're like, what can we make scary? Let's make it an amphibian. We already did Piranha. We did Jaws. Fuck, let's do frogs. And the whole fucking thing, Matt, is just there's a lot of frogs going. They don't fucking ever attack anybody. They don't fucking attack anybody.
So it's like the birds, except on the ground and
At least
they
the
don't
bird's
actually do
pecking
anything.
somebody's head.
Hey,
No,
no,
the bird's pecking somebody's head.
Exactly, like I said, it's
Literally,
like the
like a
birds,
good
except it's on the
movie,
ground and
though.
they do nothing.
They do nothing.
No,
They do
you want to know
nothing.
a movie with birds that fucking do practically nothing except for randomly explode in air? Birdemic. Okay. Don't write
All
that
right.
down. Don't watch that. I
It'd be
do
like
not
if
recommend.
Alfred-
It's really
like,
bad.
So it's basically
Fucking
like if
bad.
Alfred Hitchcock did the birds, and instead of them pecking anybody's eyes out, it's just birds pooping on people every time. It's like a general annoyance.
It's a documentary, is what it is. Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's gonna be a real life film.
And the other
Got
movie,
birds
another
everywhere.
movie to keep in mind, which is I think was listed as the worst movie ever made, period. Velocipaster.
Yes.
We did it. I think we did it Hit Your Pants
I
Wednesday.
still have on the list I have not watched yet.
The worst movie ever made. At least I was entertained by it.
Oh, I was entertained like a son of a bitch. My daughter
Like,
brought it to my attention.
I call that one of the worst movies ever made. Like one
That's
of the
what
worst
they
movies ever
labeled it
made
as.
was Birdemic, because not only was it cheap and it tried to be like campy, it failed at doing both.
But
And
the
it was, like,
pastor,
Boring. It was
the
like,
pastor gets
what?
bit by a velociraptor.
Doesn't fucking matter. Was it
And
funny?
as a
Did
werewolf, yes, it was very fun.
it
As a
keep your
werewolf,
attention?
he turns
Wasn't
into
bad.
the whole fucking time. As he turns into a velocipastor because he's a pastor at a church, and he's in one of those blow up dinosaur suits that you get at like a mini mart, and he's running down the street, and it's like this, and
Pretty much,
they actually did like a scene where his parents go back to their car, and the car blows up, and when they cut to that scene, it's just a graphic that says "Insert exploding car here." I was like, "This is the greatest movie I've ever seen."
I'm
Knew
telling
what it was
you,
doing.
because it kind of falls into the creature feature category, but it's one that I'm telling you, you have to watch, and we will have to do it for Shit Your Pants Wednesday, because there's two of them. I only saw the second one. Jack versus Lanterns.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's like
I
these like
haven't seen
genetically,
that.
it's like it turns people into like these killer, like jack-o'-lanterns. Like they basically have like a giant jack-o'-lantern, and it's great because it's like you could tell the effects were like so bad, where it's like first they kind of started out with doing it as like a paper mache like jack-o'-lantern head for these things, and eventually like partway through the movie they have more ones, and it's basically their people's heads are just painted orange. It's just like so terribly bad.
But like
and
these movies,
there was one leading before that was called Lumber versus Jack. And it was like these trees. It was trees coming after them.
Lumber versus Jack. I've seen a lot of really bad movies like that on Tubi, but I don't think I've seen that one.
Well, there's plenty of movies out there. One of my favorites, Alligator, from like 1979, right? And that stars
Pre-Lake Placid.
Yeah, pre-Lake Placid,
Pre-Lake
right? Exactly.
Placid.
It was basically going the whole like there's alligators in the New York.
Such a great movie, just such a great movie.
It was like Placid, but it was like the original. That's what I feel
like. Exactly. And when he comes out during a wedding, the fucking alligator, and he's just like eating people left and right. And I'm like, he never gets fucking full. Like, I don't think alligators eat like that. You know what I mean? But Piranha was another great movie.
Yes,
they actually did a remake of Piranha in the 90s, right? It was in the 70s and they did one in the 90s, and they were pretty faithful, like almost to the letter with like the script and all. That's just a fun movie to watch, Piranha. Especially if you like Jaws and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I like any shits like that. I even like shit like from the Sci-Fi Channel, like that ice. I'm pulling this out.
Ice spiders.
I like ice spiders versus volcanic octopi or something. You know what I mean? That crazy shit they come out with.
It's like triple-headed shark versus the camel toe. It's like all kind of weird stuff. I know.
I love shit like that. I love that crazy shit.
Big ass spiders. Big ass spiders.
No, that movie was actually legitimately like good though. It was actually a really good movie. I really like that one.
It was a fun movie. I like Spider. I do like.
It was so good.
It's funny. I do like spider movies. I find because spiders are like a terrifying entity, depending on how they're depicted. And in like we talked about in another episode here about what was the movie? Was it Spider that came from space?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was Spider. and
Yeah.
they got a real big one. It was like the
Mhm.
size of like a bus or whatever. That was a decent movie. I actually watched that a couple times. I think it's free on YouTube. You can actually watch it on YouTube. But Big Ass Spider was another one. I just recently watched Sting, and Sting was just right in that realm. It was like it could have been a made for Sci-Fi Channel movie, where a meteorite comes in. It's about the size of a jawbreaker, right? And it goes in like an apartment, like through a window, and lands in like a dollhouse. And it's basically an egg. And the
See, I
spider
wasn't sure how it
comes out.
got there because in the trailer it doesn't show you the
No,
girl.
it doesn't show you.
Spider,
Right.
but I
And you're like,
love
why
the
is this spider
trailer.
smart?
However, the spider expert they go to talk to, they're like, spiders just do two things: they eat and they
Oh,
kill,
well, yeah,
and they
yeah, yeah.
like live flesh. I'm like, everything you just said about spiders was not correct.
But what's correct is not scary. So therefore, fuck
Yeah.
No,
that
I
shit.
mean, yeah, I know it's a sci-fi movie. I actually want to watch
And
it.
the expert dies in the movie.
You know what? That's because he's a bad expert.
That's,
Okay.
well, if you notice any spider movie, Arachnophobia,
I know that guy
eight-legged,
died.
eight-legged freaks,
I
any
love both
movie,
of those
any
movies.
movie,
Eight-Legged Freaks was really good. That
awesome
movie.
movie.
Was so fucking
Matt,
good.
what was the movie with the what's the name that just died that played Bull on Night Court? Martin Mull, or not Richard Mull.
Yeah.
He did a spider movie. There was like 3 of them, I think, and he was in like the second one or something like that. He's on a boat and he's fucking doing something with spiders. He dies. I mean, everybody, whoever's the expert,
Yeah.
they're
Whether
not
it be,
experts
whether
at
it be
all.
the scientist, the exterminator, or whatever.
I know. No.
Usually in the
a
spider
big
movies,
spider, in the big ass spider, that guy was the exterminator, and he was the
in the
hero,
in
and he
any
got the girl.
any spider movie, you have to bet on the most stupid guy in the room because that's the guy that's going to get away.
Mm-hmm.
The expert will always get killed first because he's a fucking know-it-all and he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
See, as an expert, I know that I'm also not a
you're
know-it-all.
an expert when it's this big or it's like this big, but when it's 50 feet tall, it's like you don't know
like,
shit.
Exactly, and when it's not a scientific experiment or come from space, then I know it. But if it comes from fucking outer space,
if you had a spider the size of a fucking German Shepherd, you'd be like, I'm jumping out the fucking window. Fuck this shit.
I mean, I
know
have
I
a
would.
spider that's going to be the size of a dinner plate. I have a Goliath bird eater.
Fuck that. I don't even want the bird. Fuck that.
I literally
Fuck
have
all
a
that
big
shit.
ass spider. I got a
Fuck
lot
that
of them.
shit. But like, yeah, spiders have always been a creepy thing for me. Like, I'm not like I'm not like, I don't have a terror. Like, I'm not like, oh my God, spider. But spiders are terrifying to me in a sense, which is funny because I love Spider-Man. That's like my favorite superhero of all time.
No, a lot of people are afraid of spiders. That's natural.
I mean, it's a natural thing because I mean that's a predator. That's a major fucking predator.
It is,
right?
because spiders in prehistoric era used to be large. We were built to fear them just instinctively because of that. Even though they're harmless now and they're like yay big.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
and I had to get over it. I did have a phobia other than seeing it on TV. Like, if I thought that shit was going to be on me, I'd freak the fuck out. And now I've got a collection.
Well, see,
like,
for us here, you know, me being down here in the South, we have, in this area, we have a lot of black widows and even worse, the brown recluse. And that's
they're actually very docile. And
I know, but the thing is, but the brown, because they're so small, and usually you don't know that it's there until it bites you. Kind of thing.
But you got to be
your
careful.
Black widows are a little different because they usually, again, they're, if you know where they like to be, because they all basically like dark spots anyway. But usually your black widows are they're larger, obviously, than a brown recluse. They're a lot easier to identify as a black widow versus you got this little spider, and it's like, oh, is that a brown recluse? It's like, I don't know, it's not. And it's like, even if it's a little tiny sucker and it bites you, and all of a sudden you've got like a giant
thing. And the fiddle thing isn't even across the board. You don't even know if that's a brown recluse. It's fiddle plus their eye arrangement.
Yeah.
But a lot of brown recluse bites that were considered dangerous, like when you hear about the stuff about the gaping wounds and shit, they actually think that's from a staph infection getting into the small wound they create and not actually from their venom.
Yeah. I mean, it's usually
like a lot of myth is like, oh, if you get bit, you're gonna fucking lose an arm, or there's gonna be a big chunk of flesh. I'm like, no, if you clean it, it probably won't.
Well, it's kind of like even too like they talk about with the even like a Black Widow. Usually, unless you have some other condition or it's usually some sort of an allergic reaction, unless you're talking about very small children, an adult, typically you get bit by a Black Widow, it's gonna hurt like hell. You're gonna feel like shit for a while, but you're usually gonna be fine. You're just like, as I read one thing somewhere where it was like somebody said with the way the reaction, it's like you're gonna wish you were dead for a couple of days, and, and then and then you're gonna be all like, okay.
Yeah, like Black Widow bites are so rare. Like over 300 million people are bit each year, and only 3 to 4 people die. Like the death, you have to have like a severe allergy or something fucked up with your immune system for that to fuck with you. But yeah, there's a lot of myths around spiders, and I'm like, yo, we don't have anything in the U.S. that can fucking kill you. I promise.
That's crazy.
I have spiders. I have tarantulas that if you get bit, it could take you out of commission for fucking 2 to 3 weeks, maybe even a month with muscle cramps, flu-like symptoms. They're called old world tarantulas. And I got the most feisty, but they're really pretty. That's worth the risk, but I also don't fucking try to hold them. I just feed them and then rehouse them, and they don't bother me, and I don't bother them. It's good.
They're very feisty.
They can be. Oh yeah, my OBT, that's notoriously feisty. But yeah, no, spiders, you're going to intrinsically have a fear, despite the fact that they're not going to kill you. Like you can't help it. It's built in. I had to get over a phobia. So now I love them.
Well, for me, like my wife is like deathly afraid of spiders. She can't deal with like whatever. Yeah. But for me, I'm all like, hey, unless you're crawling on me, I'm cool.
Right.
And even if it's like, oh, somebody has like, a pet spider or whatever. Okay, well, do it. Like that kind of stuff I could deal with. But it's like, if I suddenly like look down, like I feel like something walking on me and look down, it's a spider and it's like, oh crap, and it's like, you're dead, or if I'm walking through the woods, I'm out camping, I'm out hiking, I'm out doing some fishing, whatever. I walk through a spider web. It's like, oh crap, is it on me? Is it on me? Is it in my hair?
And it's so funny because I let them be because I've never been afraid of these. I've always loved house centipedes because they're not going to bother you. By the way, there's also many centipede creature features, but they're not going to hurt you any. And they go around, they eat the spiders. Now I leave them all be. Like I have spiders about this big. They'll sit in the corner. Like they're not very big. You know what I mean? But they all have their own little ecosystem. I'll see my spider, I'll name it, and then when it disappears, I assume it was eaten. But there's lots of cool creature features. I want to see Sting a lot.
Sting was good. I enjoyed it a lot. It was a fun little movie to watch. There was
I like the whistling. I want a whistling spider.
That made no sense at all.
I don't give a shit. I want one. It doesn't make any sense.
It made no fucking sense at all. As far as this spider, like it was just, I don't know. It made no sense. And it was like, and there was no character development. There was, so I mean, honestly, if you can compare it to something, you compare it to a Sci-Fi Channel original movie. But it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch. I mean, I wasn't.
They came out with some good shit.
I wasn't expecting anything out of it. So what I got out of it was good. Now, a movie I hear that's really, really good, but it's in French, so I'm not watching it, is what the hell's the movie called? It's about another movie about spiders. Matt, look it up. French movie about spiders. It's out in 2024. Okay. It's out right now.
Ooh, it's not even out yet? Or did it come out recently?
No, it's out. It's out.
Let's see. French
spider movie
about spiders.
Is it called Vanet Checks in?
No. Infested. Yeah.
I see one. Oh yeah.
A lot of good.
Infested. Yeah.
Infested. Okay. Now, I heard a lot of good things about that movie. Some people have told me that Sting is better. So I'm like, all right, I don't know. I just don't like subtitles. Anyway. I don't like subtitles. I just want to sit back and watch the movie and not read it. So I'm like, all right, that's enough. I watched Godzilla. I watched Godzilla -1, and as a Godzilla movie, it was a good movie. I don't think it was worth the hype that everybody was saying about it.
Is that the new movie that came out? Like the new one?
Yeah, that's once again in Japanese. It's in subtitles. And the fact that I had to read that entire movie just pissed me the fuck off the whole time. It's a Godzilla movie. I just want to see this shit happening.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to.
Can we get a dub here?
Can we get a dub? Punch, kick,
I don't care if it's
ow,
Godzilla.
ow. You know.
Oh, I used to love
destroying
that. I watched
Joe
Godzilla
Godzilla.
movies with my grandma all the time because surprisingly, my grandma liked them. And back in the 80s, we used to watch them all
Yeah.
the time. I used to think it was so funny, and I didn't understand at the time why the dubbing was so bad. Because it'd be like, oh my God, there's Godzilla. And I'm
Now,
like,
the coolest thing though is that
But at least I don't have to read. I got to do enough reading in this house between my mother and my wife not being able to freaking hear.
You're right. Yeah.
Like
She
the
likes
closed captioning is
subtitles.
on
I
like
don't
every
mind
single freaking show.
subtitles at all.
starting in the 60s with the predominant overacting which made those shows great, right? Nobody acts like they did in the 60s anymore. They don't. And it's a lost trait and stuff like that.
Nobody
And
actually did
and
in
what-
the 50s either.
what-
It's the golden age of Hollywood. It's
Right.
not the same.
and but like what happens is you evolve into like now there's a monster movie all the time. There's Chud, there's
Love Chud.
Alligator,
Chud,
there's
that was
Alligator. Another movie that was kind of a letdown as far as what the creature was, but Bloody Beach.
I
That's
didn't see
where-
that.
Well,
That's-
there was one that came out just in
Recently.
called I think it was just called The Sand.
The Sand, yes, and I watched that.
That one was actually kind of cool. I kind of
It
liked
was.
that
Oh,
It
I haven't
was.
seen that. I wanted to see that. I haven't
No,
seen
that's
that yet,
good.
though.
That's
because it
good.
was great.
That's good.
Because you know what, it became one of those movies that like literally, it's like as you got to know each individual character, that was in there. It's like you
Yeah.
started rooting for the monster. there was only one person in that movie that died that I really felt bad for.
I
You
know.
know? And that was because he was stuck in a trash can.
Yeah, he was looking at trash can the whole fucking time, the whole movie, right?
I felt bad for
Yeah.
him because he got drunk. They all shoved him in a trash can, and he
And that
couldn't get
saved
out. He
him.
was the only one that didn't deserve to get eaten, I think.
Right.
Everybody
But
else was such a
Bloody Beach
douchebag.
was like it was a cool concept. It was Robert Young, is that his name? The guy who played Paulie in Rocky.
Yes.
Robert
yes.
Young, right? He's in it. He plays a cop, and there's
Oh.
people disappearing on the beach, right? And what happened is these little like sinkholes on the beach start to form, almost like a turtle, like a what do you call that? Not a whirlwind, but like a
Yeah, you're right. Like a sinkhole.
You know,
it's like a little
like a
quicksand
sinkhole,
spot.
like a quicksand type of thing. And what it is, it's like some kind of plant creature underneath
Burt
the
Young.
ground.
Burt
Burt Young, and it's sucking people down and then eating them and shit.
Eh,
I was like, that's kind of cool. I was like, that was came out
oh,
like
little
70
sarlacc tits.
They
I
came out
love
like
it.
right. I came out like right after Rocky 2, I think, or something like that. I was like, that's pretty good. And then, but then you now you're going to start to evolve.
1980.
1980, thank you. And then what happened is it starts to evolve. Now you're going to get aliens and stuff like that. We talked about that in sci-fi. 'Cause remember, like I said, creature features, it will walk that line of the sci-fi.
Oh yeah,
movie,
absolutely.
but it is its own category in the sense of this is what it is. But like let's talk about more modern day. One of the best modern day ones.
I don't know why I'm pointing because I'm
Why are
like
you
over here
pointing?
point. Because I'm pointing at Matt's screen like people on the fucking internet can see
Right
me.
here.
Yeah.
Yes.
This
thank
is the one
you.
I think you're thinking of talking
ritual.
about, Stacy.
Yes, thank you.
The ritual. Yeah. Yeah. We watched that.
That
It
creature
was-
was so freaking cool.
Fucking top tier. It was a creature feature, but then all had that
Now-
crafty and cosmic thing. 'Cause it's like a
Witchcraft
tie of
and-
Loki, and then
Yeah,
witchcraft and
Norse
occult,
gods
and then fucking old gods. I fucking loved it. It was so good. And the creature itself, especially when it was trying to get people to bow,
Right.
and then it changes its form from that to putting its like arms above its head like this,
yeah.
and it's like so fucking insane. It's such a good.
Here,
movie.
I'm actually gonna do this here. Hang on a second. I'm gonna go ahead and put that out in the front, and I'm gonna make this big just so you can kind of see this thing.
Bro, it
thing
was so good.
is
Yeah,
so
cool.
freaking. I mean, it's like a torso. The head is like a torso that's missing the head.
Mhm.
The arms come out to be antlers, and where there should be legs, then it's like these arms, and it's
But then
got
when it
these
stands up on its
mandibles
like
here,
hind
and
legs,
it's like, oh man,
yeah, and then it stands up on its all of its hind legs when it's like
Yeah.
trying to establish itself as a god, and then it all switches
Yeah.
position, and those arms go right above its head over where it looks like that headless part. Like I mean, it's
Yeah.
so fucking
You
good.
know what beat that thing? Pumpkinhead.
I love Pumpkinhead. That's a
Pumpkinhead, what a
classic.
great
It's so
movie. What a
good.
great
That's what we
so
need.
good.
That's what we need. Loki versus Pumpkinhead. Because it's
Loki
basically, well,
versus-
actually, it wasn't
Loki
Loki. It was
Child
like
of
Loki's
Loki
bastard
versus
child or
Pumpkinhead.
something.
John,
I like the Pumpkinhead
bi- is-
versus Loki.
Loki's bastard
Child
son,
of
Jeff.
Loki. It's a child of Loki.
Yeah, Jeff.
Yeah, it's the child. It's like the bastard
Jeff.
child of Loki and something
And
else.
Funny because
Jeff-
that makes sense
Jeff
because you
Smith.
don't know how many bastard childs that motherfucker has. The world serpent, child of Loki. That
Okay.
thing that slept near the 8-legged horse that pulls Odin's chariot. That's a child of fucking Loki. That guy just gets it on with fucking everybody and everything,
Mhm.
and just has all these
Horny
fucking
bastard.
weird-ass
When you
things.
got it going on, you
That's,
got it going
that's why
on.
his helmet. That's why his helmet has it because he's just a horny bastard.
Yeah, he's a horny bastard.
He's horny.
But no, in modern day though, and I gotta say, it was so refreshing. And being a Godzilla fan, this was before Godzilla, but after that horrible Zilla movie, which was the Matthew Broderick Godzilla, which was horrible.
Mhm.
That's when I stopped watching them, and then I watched the new one after that, and then I haven't watched any of these sequels that have come out since.
No, dude, I'm telling you, of the new ones, right? You watched the first one, right?
I did the one. It had Bryan Cranston in it for like a minute.
Right.
Yeah, I watched that one. Yeah.
But the King of
I
All
didn't watch
Monsters,
any of the other ones though.
King of
Yeah.
All Monsters was such an amazing visual thing to watch.
Was it good?
It was amazing. It was
Nice.
better than the first one. And I'm not a fan of Kong versus Godzilla because like Kong was good by itself as a movie, but
I did like King Kong remake.
but like King
movies.
Kong versus Godzilla, I was like, I didn't really need it. And then the new one, Godzilla X Con, the new Freedom World or Raven Simone or whatever the fuck they're talking about. Like they fucking, it was just a bad movie. It was I was like, you're killing
That's
this franchise.
unfortunate.
Killing this franchise because they made like Godzilla like this like sidekick of King Kong. It's like stop it, just stop.
That is never how it was. That's
but-
blasphemy.
But
They
Cloverfield.
only had like one interaction. It wasn't like a constant Godzilla versus King Kong. It was
Well,
just like one of
somebody
the epic
somebody came up with the bullshit. They're like, they're eternal enemies.
No,
Whatever,
no,
stop it.
that is not a thing. That's. I mean, it. No.
Stacy, first of all, don't act like it's a real thing. They're fictitious creatures. You don't know.
I don't care. I do too.
Maybe Kong took Godzilla's parking spot at the office. I don't know.
I mean, that would
What the fuck he did.
off.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what he did. Maybe he took his Uber Eats. I don't know. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of.
Oh
things.
no, that's not.
You
cool.
ate the last banana.
You ate the last banana, boom. He's like, you know, like who the fuck knows what they're doing? I don't know. But like, no, but Cloverfield, what a great fuck.
Yeah.
Cloverfield, what a great movie that was, and such
I
a
like that movie.
and it combined found footage, which I love found footage, with a monster movie, and it gave us what was really cool about it being a found footage movie was that it gave us a scope of how unrealistic this fucking thing is, and to have like it broke the barrier of reality in a sense to sit there and say this thing's bigger than a skyscraper, and it's fucking chucking the head of the Statue of Liberty down the street, and it's walking down the street, and it's so huge, and the way they did it, it was just so amazing. I'm like, this is such a great fucking movie. Now the other two sequels, now keep in mind they were not sequels, they were movies, separate movies that were purchased and then adapted to be in that series, but none of them had anything to do with Cloverfield. Neither one.
There was like the Cloverfield paradox. All
That was the third one.
All right,
That was the third one.
I don't even know why they call that a Cloverfield movie because it really had nothing. To
Yeah.
do
Yeah,
with
nothing to do with it, but what they did was they tied it in at the
that
end.
movie. It just had fucking nothing to do with Cloverfield. I don't
Right,
know.
but they tied it in at the end, and well, that's what it was. The
Cloverfield
movies,
Lane was pretty good. I was
but
surprised
that was its own separate movie and its own separate story. And when they bought it, they said, let's just do a little tweaking to the story and tie it into Cloverfield.
that
And
happens to a
so
lot of movies. You'd be
it does.
surprised.
No, it does. No, it does. But like Cloverfield, what a great movie that was. And it's a scenario where you're sitting there like the scope of this monster was like ridiculous. You know what I mean? And I was like, this is so cool to watch this in modern day because it's almost like they don't want to give movie going fans this unrealistic shit. It's like, oh, people aren't going to buy that. It's a movie. Why the
Yeah.
fuck wouldn't I buy it?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying it doesn't have to be real.
Yeah,
But you know what I mean?
there's so much other stuff that we watch in any other genre of movie
Right.
where you have like suspension of disbelief. Like even to
Yeah.
you just like watch like an action movie and some of
Right.
these fights that happen in an action movie where it's like this thing should have been over in the first 3 seconds because there's no way anybody realistically gets hit
Right.
with that object and gets back up.
Right. Exactly.
You know, oh, you cracked the guy in the head with a tire iron. I'm sorry, he has a fractured skull. He's unconscious. He's probably dead already. If you know, there's in that situation, it's like there's 2 hits. The tire iron hitting you hitting the ground, and the ambulance hitting 90 on the way to the hospital. You know, and so it's like in a horror movie, like Dan's saying, especially when you have a creature, give us unrealistic. Shoot the load. Probably one of the and it falls into the sci-fi because we talked about the sci-fi. But again, it was a great creature feature.
Exactly. The Thing. Yeah.
That creature. Every time you saw it, first off, it was different than what you saw before, and it was so entirely unrealistic. But it looked awesome. It scared the living shit out of you. Well,
you know the reason why one of these creatures.
Again, it's like there's no rules. It's a creature.
I fucking love that movie. So
it's a great movie. But the reason why that's so crazy scary, and the reason why, and it falls under a trope of a lot. You don't know it. You don't know. You don't know what. You have no idea what it is. Like a human being, you're like, well, that person will maybe have a fear, and maybe
you don't know what it is. But then when you find this thing that you don't know what it is, then you don't know if your friends are your friends or if any like that.
Well, you're getting deeper into it, but like in the sense of an alien monster coming down, I don't know what the fuck that thing's about.
Yeah,
maybe he's trying to say hello. I like to be your friend, and meanwhile, it looks like it's like, and I'm like, I'm gonna shoot it. Like we're assholes. I don't know.
And we talked about this in the sci-fi, but like talk about like Alien. One of the things that was great that Alien did was okay. This thing is stuck on this guy's face. Oh, well, fine. Just cut it off. Well, you can't cut it off because it bleeds acid.
Well, they don't know that.
And that exactly.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. But it's like it's like okay, we're just gonna go ahead and cut it. And all of a sudden, it's like oh well, we're gonna have this. We're gonna have this. This gauze here to catch whatever the blood is, whatever. So it keeps it clean. And all of a sudden, you cut it open, and all of a sudden, it's leaking acid everywhere.
Yeah, straight up.
That's the great thing. You don't know how to kill it. You
don't
know how to deal with it.
That freaked me out. I was like,
oh my God,
I'm to hold the hole.
In reality, they would have cut at least 3 aliens up first before realizing, hey, we need to stop. There's acid in there. Because the human beings are stupid and we'll be like, well, that was like acid. Oh, well, try that one. It's like that's what we do. We're like, I don't know. Maybe you had something to eat.
Oh, we need to put a theme on here about like viruses, and I'm not talking about zombies. Like there's shit with like the crazies and all sorts of shit.
All right, well there's something to add to the list for another.
Gotta add that to the list.
Upcoming episodes.
But what is your favorite? Like thinking back of the movies, what is your favorite monster movie?
My favorite monster movie.
One that if it comes on the TV and you can watch it right from the beginning, you're like, fuck it, I'm not going anywhere. I'm sitting on the couch and I'm watching this movie.
Well, it falls into very specific monsters.
Okay, good.
It's werewolves.
Yeah,
American Werewolf in London.
100%, man. I can watch that any fucking time of the year.
That movie was also funny. Like it was really good. I like that movie.
Well written. The effects are obviously they're second.
Oh, the effects are.
But the story was great. The acting was great.
Best werewolf transformation ever put on film.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I will-
The Howling kind of comes in a close second.
Howling
The
was
Howling
really
was
good.
also really good with
But-
it too.
but-
Yeah.
But
You know
but
what
yeah,
though?
I mean, it's
The Howling. Let's talk about that for a second. The Howling was a scary fucking movie. Now they went ape shit, fucking crazy, stupid from
Mhm.
2 on. With
Yeah, they
five, with 5, the Night of the Circus Freaks or whatever being like my favorite of the bad sequels because that was kind of cool because there was a
I
vampire.
don't think
that
I've seen
fought a-
anything past the second one.
No,
Honestly.
wait, you watched the second one. You're like, oh yeah, I can watch this. No, it's hard to get past the second one because you're like, this was fucking stupid,
Yeah, I kind of
really
stopped.
stupid. But no, the Howling 5, Night of the Freaks, Night of the Circus Freaks, something like that. They're in a circus, and one guy's a vampire and the other guy's a fucking werewolf, and then they fight in the circus.
Never
right?
seen one.
And there's a strong man there. I don't know. It was a fucking circus. It was good though. It was funny. It was a good little like if it's like 1 o'clock in the morning and you just got in from the bar, you're watching that movie. That's what's happening because it's on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what it was. But like, I gotta say, because I love the original of the Wolfman with Lon Chaney, right? But the Benicio del Toro.
I would say the remake
That-
with
the
Benicio
remake-
was pretty
that
good.
And you know what the
was
funny thing is? The
excellent.
remake does not get good critic appeal, but let me tell you something. I fucking love that movie.
Mhm.
Love
Especially
that
the
movie.
twist we got in it. It was a great
Yes.
twist. with it.
Great twist. We had great actors in it. The effects were good. Okay. The story was very, very close to the Lon Chaney original.
Mhm.
Just gave you a little bit more in depth, which was kind of cool. And it's one of those things where I was like, I'm so cool with this. I don't know why it didn't go further when it was. I guess the moviegoers that are making these choices are not Universal Monster fans anymore because I'm a Universal Monster fan big time. I love the Universal Monsters. Frankenstein, Dracula, Creature from the Black Lagoon. You know, the only one I don't like is the Mummy. It's a boring fucking thing. It's run. The thing's not running.
Which
after you.
one? Because I like the remake with, or the one with the
Any
Brendan
fuck-
Fraser. Brendan
No,
Fraser.
well,
with,
that's not really Universal in a sense, but that's a Mummy movie.
it wasn't,
but, like-
but it was the Mummy.
But like just mummies in general, like just run. You know, it's like a person. It's like you're getting attacked by a person in one of those like scooters
Yeah.
at a Denny's.
Yeah, but,
You know what I mean? Like
not-
I think
not
if you
Brendan Fraser.
briskly
He's
if you
like,
briskly walk, you can get away from the guy in the
Man,
scooter.
eat your face.
You can get away from a fucking mummy. I'm sorry, just stop it.
You
Stop
Yeah,
it.
can't.
it's like, you know,
it's
it's-
not if it turns the desert into something that chases you. And
Well, again,
consumes
but
you.
that's
why
the,
the
Yeah,
that's
Brendan
but
it's
again,
not
we're getting
doing
it
that.
out of our. But like that's why the Brendan Fraser ones were good because it actually gave you a mummy that was that you could be afraid of.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
Otherwise,
Well,
every
yeah,
other
yeah,
movie-
yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely.
Every other mummy movie, you got basically Scooby Doo. You know, coin.
Going.
Yeah.
Professor Hyde, wait.
Just
You
set
know.
it on fire. It's done.
Yeah.
Creeper.
Yeah. It's like, you know, it's like the mummy. He's wrapped up. It's like just grab his wrappings and unwind the son of a bitch. You know.
Why couldn't we
exactly.
get a-
Just
why
wrap
couldn't-
it
Or
on your
just
damn
set it
bike,
ablaze.
bike
That's
chain.
another thing too. Why couldn't we get a Scooby Doo horror movie? Like honestly, why
Like a
couldn't somebody
real
make
horror
that?
movie.
Like a real horror movie with Scooby Doo, right? And another thing is too, understand what Scooby Doo, right? Those kids are not police officers, they're not law enforcement, and none of the people that they busted, right, actually committed any crimes. If anything, Scooby Doo and the gangs broke entering, trespass,
Trespassing. Yep.
trespassing.
A lot of
So
that.
if anything, the kids should be getting arrested.
Oh,
but the
and
guy-
assault
but-
because
but
they'll,
if
like,
Stacey-
attack the person and then rip their fucking mask off
If
after they've
Stacey-
attacked them and tied them up, and they're like,
If
"This
St-
is my
if-
property." Oh,
if
but you wanted to
Stacey-
scare these
No.
other people off.
If Stacy dressed up like Raven Simone to scare her husband away so that he could take over his bedroom, that's not against the law. It's fucking weird, but it's not against the law,
No.
right? But if Scooby Doo and a gang break in and try and get clues and they start ruffling through your shit, like you got
That's
Shaggy
the
and like,
law.
like you got Shaggy in Stacy's underwear drawer. I'm looking for clues. Oh, here's a thong.
I mean, I
Well,
wouldn't
what-
mind Shaggy in there.
It's like, you know, my
Shaggy's
damn,
good.
they're raiding the fridge, they're eating everything in the fridge. It's like, you stole my groceries, man. I
They
gave
stole that. It's breaking and entering, you know, and it's home invasion.
Uh,
Arrest their kids.
Charlie is 100.
Arrest those kids and their
Here we go.
fucking dog too.
Here's one of those tangents we were talking about at the top. Of
Yeah, right. You know, I mean, but like, what the fuck? But we haven't had a good creature feature. It's like you have to, even like Sci-Fi channels, like fuck it, I'll just put on Fast and the Furious. Like they don't even put anything sci-fi on anymore.
Rachel was good, and then the Empty Man isn't really a creature feature. The Void might be kind of a creature feature. It has a creature in it.
Abigail, phenomenal. It's a vampire movie. We'll talk about vampires.
See, those are all. I think those. I mean, those are creatures technically.
Abigail was great. I watched it twice already. I fucking love that movie.
I really want to watch it.
It's fantastic.
I'm waiting for it to be
Megan.
free.
How about Megan? It's not a really. It's a robot.
I fucking love Megan. I've seen that movie like 8 times.
It's a great movie, right? It's a great movie.
I love Megan. I don't know why I liked it so much. I just
because it was good. And when she does that little dance right before she kills the guy.
God, I fucking love the dance. The dance is iconic.
You know, like she's like better than a Terrifier.
I love her. She's fucking great. Megan is great.
Megan is great. They're making a second one, I think.
I
hope so because I love that movie. I love the movie.
The shit out of that. I love the first one so much.
Yeah, I mean,
I watched the original. I watched the director's cut they came out with.
Matt mentioned in 2 episodes ago or something like that. He mentioned a Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Sasquatch.
Right. That's kind of a cool thing. Like a Wendigo type of scenario is kind of cool.
Yeah.
There
was one I watched. Oh geez, it was a little hard to watch. I have to go back and figure out what the heck the name of this movie was, but it dealt like with a Wendigo. It was a very cheap B movie, but it was
right.
It was kind of cool because it was like
a cheap B movie.
Right.
Oh god, I'd have to.
Antlers was horrible. Did you watch that movie? That was horrible.
The best part about it was I figured out very short on. I'm like, oh, it's a fucking Wendigo, and then
that
was about it. I was just happy it was a Wendigo, but then it was
a bad movie though.
It didn't go anywhere. It didn't.
No, it didn't.
Scare me. It didn't have any atmosphere. It just had nothing.
Stacy, you get out from the bar, and you sit down, and you could start your favorite monster movie from the beginning and watch it. What is it? That's
probably The Thing.
The Thing?
I really love it, especially as somebody who's into special effects and makes special effects and shit. Like, that alone is top tier. But just the movie is just so damn good and has so many iconic lines. I could watch that movie 100 times.
Well, you know, like Matt said, American Werewolf in London. And quite frankly, what a fucking amazing
that movie is fucking great too.
It's an amazing movie. But I gotta say, and once again, I love Lon Chaney.
Oh, and the Blob. I'd also watch the 1980s Blob. And
with Matt Dillon's brother.
Yeah.
I
like that one too a lot. Those two I could probably sit down and watch repeatedly.
But I like you know what I watched? I watched with Michael Caine. I think it was Swarm. And it's about bees, killer bees. Any killer bee?
No, that sounds familiar. Now I got to Google it.
Yeah, it's Michael Caine, 1977, I think it is. Great movie, Michael Caine, Killer Bees, Swarm. But killer bees, like insects, when insects turn on the world, I think that's such a great creature feature because you're like, yeah, don't worry about Godzilla, don't worry about big ass spider, don't worry about Pumpkinhead. The fucking ants are gonna fucking eat you. The fire ants are gonna fucking blow up your toe. You know what I mean? And shit like that. It's like that kind of stuff is scary because it's right here on the planet. You know what I mean? It's right here. Like we're supplying our own creatures, which is kind of cool. You know, but I like those cheesy movies like that. I love those creature features. Like,
me too. They're great.
The Tarantula, like we talked about earlier, the 1960 something, I think it was 62, I think, or 63. Tarantula, what a great movie. I love Giant Tarantula.
Would we count Arachnophobia as a creature feature?
Yeah, I would.
I love that movie. That movie's so good.
Because it's not like Eight-Legged Freaks, which were like out of proportion, like weird sci-fi type of stuff. It was just
that movie too.
It was once again Arachnophobia, not unlike Swarm or Them. It's just the fucking the animals or these animals on our planet evolving to a point where it's like now we're not the top tier of the food chain anymore.
Mhm.
They figured out they could eat us,
Potentially being how like it used to be, where they were huge.
you know. So yeah, I would say arachnophobia definitely was definitely a creature feature.
That's a good one.
And it's kind of neat because a creature could be as small as an ant or as big as Godzilla. It doesn't matter, you know. It could be equally as scary or terrifying in a sense. But no, definitely. I mean, creature
Could be
features are
like the
great.
faculty too. Have you seen the faculty?
Yeah, that was an alien, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yeah, it was like this little microscopic alien. If you pretty much get it into your bloodstream, it's almost like an invasion of the body snatchers kind of thing.
Right.
But it
But
takes
there you
place in a
go.
high school.
The original, and the 70s remake with what's his
Yeah,
name?
I've only seen the 70s remake.
Oh, you didn't see the original?
Uh-uh.
Original was really good.
And then I also saw like a remake in the 90s or 2000s with Nicole Kidman.
Yeah. I didn't watch that one, but yes,
Yeah, I saw that one
right.
too.
Yeah, but the 70s with what's his face?
Sutherland.
Donald
Yep.
Sutherland. Love that movie. Love that movie. It's definitely better than the original, but the original in classic 1960s suspense thriller horror overacting, you know, and I say overacting, not like it's bad. Like
No, it was the style back then. It was just
that
the
was the
style of acting
style,
they did.
the style of acting they
Very
did back then.
melodramatic.
Very melodramatic. Thank you very much. And it was just like it was like really very close to the same story, which was kind of cool to think like across decades that they're able to tell the same story and not really have to veer from it too much. That like it's not like the story was very tame here. Like if you watch The Thing that came from outer space, which is the original Thing in the 50s, right? That was a very tame movie. But it had the same
Thing from another world.
The Thing from
That
Another
one?
World, right? But then you see John Carpenter's thing, you're like, holy shit, it's a completely different fucking story here, you know, because they were able to
a lot
do
of
more.
people don't realize that 1953 one is a thing. Because I actually got
Right.
deducted. I was in horror trivia, and they were like, "When was the original Thing released?" And I
And you
said
said it.
1953.
Yeah.
And they're like, "No, it was 1982 or whatever." And I was like, "No, that's not fucking right."
It's not. No, it's not.
Like, no, sir, that is when the remake with Kurt Russell was done with John Carpenter. I was like,
Correct.
no.
You know,
I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. But I love creature features. I think
They're
creature
great.
features allow us to sit down, pop open our caps, take our brains out and put them down. You know, put our cap back on and just sit there and drool and watch the fucking movie. I think that's what it does. And it's so cool in that aspect because it really does, like for me watching cartoons or whatever, it just allows me to dumb everything down and be able to like unplug for a while and just let the story
Oh,
take place.
another good one that I actually like that was recent. A Quiet Place. I actually like that one.
Quiet Place was good. There's a
I
new
like
one
that
coming out. There's a prequel coming out. There was another movie that was like A Quiet Place.
Yeah, it was called The Fucking Silence.
Yeah.
And it had Stanley Tucci in it, which was unfortunate because I love him. But that movie was it was
good.
like it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was bad, but it wasn't like good like
Right.
A Quiet Place was.
Well, it was like
About
it was like the movie I told you about, Monster, that came out after Cloverfield. So it did, but it was actually produced and created before Cloverfield. It's just when it was released was when it was released worldwide was after Cloverfield got a worldwide release. So Cloverfield got the I did it first credit, but it actually was made second.
And yeah, here's actually another one because it's funny because it's a totally different movie, but it's actually called The Monster, if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay.
Yeah, it was from 2016.
Yes.
And this is one I think we had talked about a while back.
That's what I'm talking about. I think is it with the two girls in Japan?
No, No, it's
No, that's
about
just.
Oh
I think
wait! Oh
is
no!
that
No! The
that's like
monster, and then there's
ghosts or something, right? Or no?
there's two of them, I think, Matt.
yeah, there's the one you're talking about. Then there's one called The
The
Monster.
monster, and then there's a second The Monster, I think, too.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
it's this woman and her daughter, and it's like they're driving, like she's like taking the daughter to like the father's house, whatever, and they're going down this back road,
Oh.
and they end up like hitting like a
Yeah.
deer, or a wolf, or something happens where basically, but there's this creature in the woods, and they're like
Oh,
stuck in the
yeah.
car. And it's great because like they call a tow truck, the tow truck comes and and next thing you know, it's like, well, where's the guy from the tow truck? Because they're not paying attention, and it's like there's this creature in the woods and it's coming out eventually, and coming after them, and they're like trapped in this car, and it was pretty cool. It was
It's one of those movies where I don't know if you would call it a creature feature or not. I kind of do in a sense, just because of how horrific it is. But Krampus.
yeah, I remember when that came out, but I
feel like
didn't
that would
watch
be a
it.
creature feature.
Great, Matt,
he's
watch
a
it.
mythological creature that
Right?
people believe
yeah,
in.
I mean,
But he's not a
I
dude,
would
right?
call-
He's
I
not
would
a he's
call
not
it
a dude. He's not a dude.
No, he's
right?
not a dude. He's a creature.
I
I
mean,
would
it's a
consider that a
creature.
creature feature.
A full-on
Yeah.
creature.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I
If
mean,
it's
there's-
not human, if it's not human, it's a creature.
And it's not a ghost, it's a creature.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's what it is.
Again, it's one of those things that we can talk about. There's so many things that fall within a creature feature.
We can go into so many subcategories in like later episodes too, where we can
Yeah.
get like really into it. But yeah, there's a lot.
Well, we're going to have to eventually go into subcategories because.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, plus, like, you know how many things I haven't talked about that I think, like, after each episode we film, like, fuck, I should have thought about this, or I meant to mention this
Yeah.
movie, like every time. So I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it'll be
Definitely.
relevant.
Unplug your brains, find a good monster movie,
Yeah.
and sit back and watch it and just revel in it.
It's-
Get off of Jason, get off of Freddy. Forget
What-
about all these people and just get a good fucking monster that wants to eat you. That's all.
That's that's kind of the thing that I do like about monster / creature features, because usually it is something that odds are it's not even like, okay, well, you get like Friday the 13th, so you get Jason Voorhees. Well,
Right.
it's like, well, how do you stop him? But he's still ultimately, it's supernatural type of a thing. But
Right.
he's, there's a way to stop him because he is still ultimately human. There's so many ways that he's died, or at
Yeah,
least
he's
not
like
been fully dead.
corporeal, like you can
you know?
damage the physical body kind of
Yeah,
situation.
you know what I mean? So it's like, you can incapacitate him long enough so you can figure out how you can keep him,
Right.
once you get him contained, he's almost like like you look at like comic books like Juggernaut,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
Juggernaut, once he gets moving, you can't stop him. But if you can get him stopped and
You're
keep him
good.
from moving,
Yeah.
Now, another
good, whatever.
movie, another
But-
honorable mention
but
that
as I'm gonna let me quick finish the thought here though.
Yeah.
The cool thing about it's like, how do you deal with this? Because it's something
Right.
that you have never encountered before. So there's no way of like, no, just give me a gun, I'll shoot it in the head. Well, guess
Right.
what? That doesn't do any good, or this, that, the other thing. It's where, because it scares you, because again, everybody has the fear of the unknown.
yes.
And you can relate the unknown to whatever, but still, the shit that you don't know how to approach it, you don't know how to fix it, you don't know how to stop it, you don't know literally how to deal with it, scares the shit out of everybody.
Yeah, sure.
It
Absolutely.
does. It does. That's actually the reason why the remake of War of the Worlds bothered me.
Yeah.
'Cause there's movies where, and I like to put myself in the situation of like the person in there, right? And I'm like, oh, this is what I would do to try to get out of that situation, right? And that movie bothered me because like there was these tripods, and there was just shit everywhere, and they made the
Mhm.
tripods so big
Yes.
and so just ominous and
Yeah.
overshadowing that I'm like, how
Yes.
the fuck do you compete? Like, it was terrifying to me. I was
Now,
like, those fucking
this
things
is
are
more
scary.
for the sci-fi episode that we did. I didn't mention it there,
Mm-hmm.
but Life.
Oh yeah, no, that's a creature feature.
It's
You're
definitely
talking
a
about the
creature
one with
feature.
Jake Gyllenhaal and Ryan Reynolds
Yes.
and
Yes.
Rebecca
Life.
Ferguson.
It was.
Oh, God,
it was.
she's so
it
hot.
was.
But yeah,
It was
No.
like
Not familiar
at the
with that.
time, Life.
Yeah.
Oh, Matt, watch Life, Matt.
It's really good. It really is a good movie. The creature's all fucking creepy, and then the ending is.
It's
real
funny.
fucked
It's
up. I
before
like
we
that.
had. It was before we had Venom, right? And people
Did it
watching
come
it
out
were like,
before Venom?
it came out before Venom, and people were like, finally, this is like they're not calling it Venom, but this is like the Venom movie
Oh no,
because
it's
it was like a
fucking not.
because it was like a symbiote. But I was like, close enough. I said, but no, it wasn't Venom. No, it wasn't Venom.
No,
But
not
what-
even close.
and a great twist at the end.
The end fucked me up. I was like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no,
Matt,
no.
watch it tonight. Matt, watch
Okay.
it tonight.
Really
I
good. It's a
I
good
literally
movie.
just put it. I just literally just put it on my list in
Yes.
the phone.
Life.
Needs to be
Watch it.
watched.
Life
Great
was
movie.
a good movie. I like that one.
Great movie, dude. Great
about
movie. You're gonna
that.
watch it.
Yeah, no, that was a good one.
So it's
I'm
things
not
that
sure
go
how
bumping
that's
at
on
night.
my radar.
Things that go bumping at night, and they're pretty big because they're titans.
Yeah.
Creature features, guys. There's so many. It spans decades. Okay,
I know there's so many.
and there's so many. If it just unplug your head, like I said, and just watch the fucking movie and have fun with it, and that's the best thing about it. Let me tell you something. Another great episode tonight. I hope you guys liked it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Leave us some comments.
Wherever
Let
the
us know
bell
what's your favorite creature feature, if you have one. Let us know in the comments down below. Once again, we always look at the comments. 'cause-
Especially if it's something that's not as well known, because we are
Yeah.
always. I love finding stuff
yes,
that I didn't know about.
like Life.
Same.
You guys mentioned Life. How no? Like, it came out 2017. How did it?
Yeah.
How did I not even recollect?
How
seeing
did you
something
not?
for this?
How did you not see it?
Again, I don't know, but hey,
Fucking
it
guy.
came up. So hey, now I got something to add to my list. It's something I
You
can go
know.
back and watch, and I don't have to be like, oh, I've watched this, and this. I can see something different.
So I mean, I think it's great. I think it's great, guys. Like I said, hit that notification bell, hit the subscribe button, leave us some comments down below. From my good buddy Matt Sunner, for That's So Raven Riptide. Stacey Rubel.
So bad.
My name is Danny J. Until next time, and I'm stalling because I'm not ready to do this yet. Until next time,
Are you sure you're the producer?
I am the producer. I got to do a lot
You're
of shit.
fired. You're all fired.
I'm fired. I need somebody to do my makeup. Until next time, fucking people. We'll get you right here on the Scream
Need a
Stream.
hairstylist. I need a
Yeah, I need a
hairstylist.
hairstylist.
Hairstylist, my hair.
Talk about a creature. Oh shit.
Don't-